This is the Dynasty Vipers Vipercast.
Now let's talk about the New England Patriots. Back in 2022, they finished the season at 8-9. Maybe a little bit of a better record than most people were giving them credit for heading into the season. They scored 364 points while only giving up 347. That's a huge deal when it comes to what this team is all about. Now, when you look at this team as a whole, Rhamondre Stevenson, we know that he's good. We know that this defense is good. We know that they can get after the quarterback because they finished third in sacks with 54. So that's all going to work. They're going to need to be able to continue to run the ball, and they're going to need to continue to play great defense if they have a puncher's chance here in 2023. Now, where it went wrong for this Patriots team, for starters, when you have special teams coaches and defensive coordinators calling plays for a young quarterback, that's probably where you start and end this whole conversation right there. Whether it was Matt Patricia or Joe Judge, neither dude had a clue how to handle a young quarterback, let alone how to call offensive plays, and they probably stunted the growth of one, McCorkle Jones. Now, when you look at the schedule for the New England Patriots, it is not one of those ones that I get excited about for fantasy. It's not one I get excited for their chances of making the playoffs, for crying out loud. You look at this, and it starts off tough, and it doesn't get any easier. They've got the Eagles, the Dolphins, the Jets, the Cowboys to start off the season. Then they got the Patriots, Raiders, Bills, back to the Dolphins, the Commanders, the Colts in Germany. Then they get the Giants before they get the Chargers, the Steelers, the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Bills, and finally they close off the season with the New York Jets. When I look at how this whole schedule shapes up, I don't see where the Dolphins can even get back to 8-9 this season. I see them more as a 5-12 type team right now because I don't think they got any better in the offseason. I don't think anything about this team other than maybe the offensive coordinator coming in changes things a little bit. But you look at them, this whole depth chart and what they've got working with and how it's all going. You've got yourself McCorkle Jones there and Zappy there at the quarterback position. That's fine and dandy, but that's average at best. Then at running back, you've got Rhamondre Stevenson. By the way, I think Stevenson has the potential to be a top 5 running back this season. I've got him inside my top 10 when it comes to fantasy relevancy here at the running back position here in 2023. But what do you do with the wide receiver position? Juju Smith-Schuster? Tyquan Thompson there. You've got Devontae Parker, Keyshawn Butte there. Kendrick Bourne, Lynn Bowden Jr., none of those guys scare me. As a defensive coordinator, I'm not worried about any one of those guys beating me. At tight end, Mike Gesicki, Hunter Henry, let's be honest. This New England Patriots team is going to be running 12 personnel a good portion of the season. Where they're going to have a chance is on that defense. We know with Matt Judon, he is going to get after the quarterback. They're solid up front with Dedrick Weiss there, Christian Barrymore, Guy Lawrence. I mean, on the back end, Jonathan Jones, Christian Gonzalez, Kyle Duggar. You've got yourself Jabril Pepper. So you know the back end and the front end are going to work well for this New England Patriots team here in 2023. And that's where the Patriots have a chance to keep most of these games close. You look at the additions for this team, both in the draft and in free agency. I look at the draft. They got some good players here. Christian Gonzalez, Keon White, Marty Mapo there out of Sacramento State that they're probably going to have him playing in the secondary, probably in safety. Jake Andrews there, Chad Radlett, Cindy So, Antonio Mafi, Keyshawn Butte, bunch of guys, DeMario Davis there out of Liberty. But when you look at the additions via free agency, via trades, whatever you want to call it, Juju Smith-Schuster, Mike Gesicki, Riley Rife, James Robinson, Calvin Anderson, Chris Board, and then you look at the losses, Jacoby Myers, Devin McCourty, Jonas Smith there, Jake Bailey, and Damian Harris. I think the losses outweigh the gains here when we talk about this team. Now, the best move that the Patriots had was having that draft board just kind of fall to them, snagging a top 10 player in Christian Gonzalez there with the 17th overall pick. Then grabbing themselves one of the top edge rushers there, a defender there in Keon White, who was in the conversation to be a first-round selection at pick number 47. That's called winning. Then in the 6th round, we'll see how this pays off, but Keyshawn Butte could be that wide receiver as long as he lives up to his expectations that he had back in college. Now, where you lose is when you let a guy like Jacoby Myers go and you sign a guy like Juju Smith-Schuster to the exact same deal. You mean to tell me that you refused to sign Myers, your best receiver the last couple seasons, and you waited until he signed, then signed some dude whose needs are being held together by Hubba Bubba to the exact same deal? Stop it. Just stop it. Okay, that being said, when we look at this Patriots team, we have to break down what their top 5 assets are as far as fantasy is concerned. At number 1, it's Rhamondre Stevenson. In 2022, Stevenson posted 1,461 yards. He was 3rd in targets amongst backs, 7th in yards created, while seeing 62% of the snaps there. Damian Harris, he's gone. He was replaced by James Robinson, who's still recovering from his Achilles injury. There is nothing there to stop Rhamondre Stevenson. Juju Smith-Schuster is probably the number 2 asset, and that's not good. That's not where you want to be. He got the exact same deal, like I said, that Jacoby Myers got, so the expectation is he's going to be used in a similar manner. Myers caught 67 passes for 800 yards last season while still missing time. I'm not sure if Juju Smith-Schuster can do that with this team. At number 3 for the assets, Tyquan Thornton, his current ADP has him sitting in the 11th round. So you could probably take worse than taking a shot at a receiver whose ADOT last season, that's an average depth of target there, was 14.9 yards in an offense that now features an actual offensive coordinator. Number 4, Mike Gesicki. Gesicki joined Mac Jones and Hunter Henry on a tight end bonding expedition there to Foxborough Stadium to watch Taylor Swift. Yes, they are all Swifties there in New England, and I don't know what that means, but if a quarterback drags me to a Taylor Swift contest, he better start throwing me the ball. And number 5, Mac Jones. Thankfully, Joe Judge and Matt Patricia are no longer calling plays. Jones is a system quarterback. That is who he is, and he's finally back in an actual system. So I think that's where you can kind of see Mac Jones take that step here this season, because he's going to have to take that step, especially when you take a factor that this New England Patriots team is going to need good quarterback play just to stay relevant in the division this season. Now, Tara, when we look at this New England Patriots team, and I've kind of already gone through some of the best moves, the worst moves, whatever, who is that top fantasy play for this Patriots team? I mean, it's a pretty obvious one, isn't it?
Yeah, there's only one fantasy play. It's Rhamondre Stevenson. I can't trust anyone else within that offense, really. And we got what we, were terrified that we wouldn't get. The Patriots didn't draft a running back. The only addition that they made that was significant in free agency, if you can even call it significant, unfortunately, for James Robinson, is Jameis Robinson. And I think that just signals that they're 100% good to go with Rhamondre Stevenson. And maybe we finally, cross our fingers, get that opportunity to have the New England Patriots backfield not be an ugly committee. Yes, they will probably work other backs in, and they do have younger backs there, Pierre Strong, Kevin Harris as well. But at the core, I do think that we're going to see strong usage for Rhamondre Stevenson. I don't think this is going to be a good team. I'm unfortunately not feeling very positively about the direction that they're heading, and this might be a tank year for them, unfortunately. And if they're playing from behind a lot, again, that's only a situation that can benefit Rhamondre Stevenson, because it's not just his work on the ground, it's through the air as well. So I don't think there's any bad scenario for Rhamondre Stevenson in this one. I absolutely love him.
Yeah, I'm starting. Am I wrong for calling Stevenson CMC East? I mean, is that something we can start going with right now? Because you look at what he did last season, 69 receptions. There's no one that's going to stop Stevenson except Stevenson himself. He could be on pace for 80 receptions, not 80 targets, 80 receptions or more. And at PPR, if he gets those 80 receptions and he puts up his 1,400 rushing yards, you're talking about a dude who's going to be, dare I say it, a top 5 fantasy back, if not a little bit higher. Now, when you look at potential sleepers on this team, I mean, you basically have to dig deep no matter what you do here, because I'm not in love with anything here. But is there a sleeper you're like, okay, there's some opportunity for this player to have a chance?
I mean, in theory, Juju. I know you can laugh at me, but no one is, putting significant interest in him in the draft. No one wants to draft a New England Patriots wide receiver. Most people don't feel positively about Juju. I'm probably on the higher end of people that feel, he still has juice left in him. So it's possible that he could have a little bit of mild upside in this offense, and you're not going to have to draft him in an ADP above 100 clearly. So yeah, it's possible that if you're looking for someone that we know has talent and could have a wee bit of upside, and if maybe the passing offense gets a little bit back on track, we saw Juju contribute significantly to Kansas City. I know it tailed off there after he got, he suffered the concussion, got injured. Things got a little bit shaky there towards the end of the season for him, but we saw him utilized at a high capacity, and I still think he has that within him to be able to do so in the Patriots offense. So if you want to take a shot there, that's the one that I would do it. I don't believe in any of, I don't believe, I know some people love Kayshon Boutte. I don't, hope you make the team. I don't feel like there's any upside there. The tight end position is, I don't feel very positively about it either. We're going to have Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki splitting time. It's not going to be pretty unless you're in Superflex and want, the stable-ish QB2 with Mac Jones. Other than that,
yeah, you hit it right on the head. I mean, I'm team never Juju, right? I mean, that's just, I made no bones about this, but I look at this wide receiver room and it is ugly. I mean, Smith-Schuster, Devontae Parker, Tyquan Thornton, Kendrick Bourne. I mean, if I'm looking for a deep sleeper, you mentioned he may not make the team, but if he makes the team, Boutte could be that guy. I'm not going to say he is a guy. I can see why the hype is there because the opportunity could potentially present itself based on who's ahead of him currently right now. I know the hype train left him at LSU because those injuries just derailed him. I mean, he had injury after injury. It looked like some of that explosiveness got lost. Maybe with some good training. I don't know what his whole situation is, but maybe he can get right. I don't know, but we're talking deep sleepers here. We're talking about a fantasy sleeper. And like I said, we don't like anyone on this Patriots team, really, as far as fantasy is concerned. But if you're looking for value, and we could say Stevenson's going to be value. I mean, really, realistically, you're probably getting Rhamondre Stevenson in the third, possibly even the fourth round right now in drafts. If you can get yourself a running back of Stevenson's caliber who's going to give you top production at the position, then the third and fourth round seems like a steal. But so we'll take him off the board here for the best value. Is Tyquan Thornton maybe the best value here with his ADP of 185, wide receiver 80 right now? We know that he's the only player that can stretch a defense out. Good Lord knows Juju Smith-Schuster can't run more than 20 yards down the field anymore before his knees fall apart. And he's actually got an offensive coordinator there in Bill O'Brien. It's no longer Joe Judge coaching from special teams to offense. It's no longer the pencil-wearing Matt Patricia calling plays for this offense. So maybe with an actual offensive coordinator that knows how to use a player who can stretch the field, maybe Tyquan Thornton, Tara, is the best value here.
I mean, again, we've kind of got these, quickest guy at the combine. Does it really ever turn into anything? No. So, precedent really isn't there. But maybe. I mean, it's not the worst thing to take a shot on.
I mean, it's all maybe. This is all hypothetical. We don't know what's going on with this New England Patriots team. But we do know one thing. If there's one player we will not leave our drafts without, it's Rhamondre Stevenson. And it's too bad that Major can't be here because you know exactly he'd like bring that right down from the belly. Rhamondre Stevenson. Pew, 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 because it's true. I think he is going to be that guy. And I've already moved him up my ranking since our ranking show because I'm looking at all these opportunities that he's having. He could lead this Patriots team not only in rushing, but in receiving as well. I mean, I think that is the truth when we're looking about this. And I really think you have to consider Stevenson in the same spot that you're considering Austin Eckler, right? I really do. I think Stevenson could catch more passes than Eckler when it's all said and done. And that is saying something because Eckler, he's got about $2 million worth of reasoning to catch a few more passes now. With that all being said, when we look at this Patriots team, I don't see how they can even get to the playoffs. I don't think how they can even contend. I think their defense and the run game will keep them close in a lot of games, but they just don't have the firepower to get themselves into contention, to get them back in that 8-9, 9-8 type possibilities. I just don't see that at all for the Patriots here in 2023.